We'll see how this goes.
No, wait. I'm just kidding.
No, wait, no, dang it. Okay, that's it. Everybody saw it. Sabaho, everybody. Sabaho. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Saturday morning with tech. And coincidentally, 3 months to the day, Mr. Joshua Vergara returns to the show. I was looking up the last time we and I talked, and it was actually April 25th. And surprisingly, it was around OnePlus.
Time does not exist. It does not feel like 3 months. It really
no. Well, because we talk we talk quite often, and we also had at least for me, this was a big thing because I haven't had a chance to get out of the house for a while. Josh and I had some time to hang out last week at one of the beautiful gardens here in Los Angeles.
Yep.
And so with that said, good morning, Josh. Hope you're doing well. How are things with you? How are you, man?
I'm good. I have just enough energy right now, even though, like, as TK knows, I am I'm horrible at waking up early. So I've been awake for about an hour, just enough time to make my coffee. Yeah, right.
Exactly. We gotta keep challenging. And we got Issa's in the chat. Issa's staying up with us too.
Yeah, well, a little bit. She did message me just when we went live. She was actually just about to go to bed, but I think she might chill out for a little bit. She might kick it with us for a bit.
Welcome back, Issa.
So I might just have enough. I have just enough energy to actually. You know what? Since Issa's in the chat, this will be good. I love, like, what I would call like a hybrid thing. Like, I love modularity. I love hybrid stuff. I love using things for way more than their intended usage. So this is a beer mug. That has Mega Man X on the front. And it's a beer mug, but I have coffee in it. And this coffee has butter and coconut oil in it. So I'm clearly subverting every expectation right now.
You're taking a beer mug, putting butter coffee with coconut oil in it. So keto friendly all the way.
Exactly.
X-nay the carbs. I think, but if you understand that, it makes perfect sense. You're using it to the best, obviously, maximum quantity. That's what I feel like. You're going for the quantity there.
100%. Also, shouts out to you, TK. You always have the Dragon Ball Z stuff. I don't have any. I do have a couple of Dragon Ball Z shirts. I went for the Rock today, but
I went for the one that I got with you last time we hung out at the 66 night market.
Yep, at the night market. That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, and then we got the new Dragon Ball wallpaper there.
The one that I wish I could wear, but it would be unseemly on camera because it's a tank top. Mm-hmm. It looks like the Gold's Gym logo, but it's Goku, and it's called Goku's Gym, and he's got dumbbells in his hands.
I've seen a small variation on that, but it generally ends up being Vegeta, like train. But I've also seen some Goku ones where it says like train like a Saiyan or something like that. But yeah, no. Big fan, and I'm really happy with the monitor that we have in the back. We'll talk a little bit more about that one since we both get a chance to play around with the new. Well, the new monitor.
I have. Well, I have the box is open.
Yeah.
Haven't taken it out yet.
So what we're talking about is this monitor that's sitting at the top. I kind of tweeted it. Gaming system is up there. This is basically my new gaming monitor sitting on top of my production monitor. So. As effective as I can be, but of course it works great as a backdrop, and we got Goku in the background. I should just rename the channel to TK Goku or Goku's channel and then just close it.
I've thought about having a segment on my channel, like a running segment called My Cup of Tea, and it's just like products I like, but I'm not really reviewing. So I'll talk about like a pair of truly wireless earbuds or something like that I'm not trying to do a full 8-minute review on, but I'll just talk about why I like it, and I'll say it's my cup of tea. For you, it could be like my sensu bean or something.
No, exactly. I right now, honestly, coffee does feel like a sensu bean. The way it's I would say bringing up the energy level. And I do want to say good morning and sabaho to Matt Tyler. If you guys haven't been aware of it, please make sure to check it out. Josh last week had a chance to hang out with the Across the Pondcast. Matt and Sam are buddies from Across the Pondcast. And so last week's guest is this week's guest here, which is really cool. And coincidentally, my last week's guest, Issa, hopefully tomorrow, around 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, will be the guest at Across the Pondcast. So we're doing, we're doing serve, where we're just
Yeah,
having
exactly.
both guests doing the rounds, I guess.
Literally across every pond possible right now.
Exactly. We go from Asia, Europe, and the U.S. So we're covering it all. Isa has the fort definitely held there. We want to say good morning to Gary, of course, everybody, David Burns, and of course, Isa Does Tech. I see that she's logging in from a couple of her accounts because I see Isa Does Tech and I say Sisaid, but I think that may be her Twitter. Excited to be across the
Yeah.
podcast tomorrow. So definitely check it out. Great content over at Isa's channel. And of course, as I said, Gary Earl is, of course, is in the chat. We had quite a busy week though this week, right? I mean, it's a tough week to kind of grasp the amount of stuff that we had come out.
Oh, 100%.
A few things I want to talk about. First and foremost, I did want to comment on. We did hang out last week, and you were very, very gracious enough to let me borrow said Velvet, the LG Velvet, beautiful, very nicely designed device, and of course, 2 days later. I get my own unit. Yeah, I was like, every time we did the same thing last time when we had access to a phone, and I borrow it from Josh. Literally 2 days later, I get the phone in the mail. I'm like, I could have just waited, but we have the LG Velvet, the US variant. This is the AT&T model with an AT&T SIM, actually supporting 5G. I'm surprised. That was nice, and we'll get a chance to talk about that. But we both put out a couple of videos. So I saw your video on the Nord, and I know we're both using. Obviously, we're playing with the Nord, and you got your Buds early. They went on sale, I think, on Wednesday, and I picked up mine. But if I'm not mistaken, I think yours are the ones that match the phone, right? You have I guess the Nordic Blue.
So they call it the Nordic Blue on the earbuds. So the phone is called. I think it's yeah. So the phone is called Blue Marble. Okay, yeah. But then the earbuds are called Nord Blue, which I find weird because I want everybody. Okay, I gotta say this. As I said in my video, I honestly am just not the biggest fan of this color. I'm sorry, OnePlus. I know you put a lot of work into figuring out what color you wanted to make the Nord. It's a brand new phone. You're very excited for it. I get it. That's cool. I'm just not in love with this color. It's fine. I'm not. It's perfectly fine. The thing is, everyone go on Google right now and look up the actual Pantone color called Nordic Blue. And when you look at that color, don't you wish that was the color that this was? Wouldn't it have made more sense for that blue to be this OnePlus Nord Blue? That would have been... I looked up Nordic Blue because I know that's a Pantone color, and I was like, that should have been the color of the phone.
Well, they did release it in 2 colors, but I think, yes, most of us now obviously have the Nordic Blue, and of course they did the cyan. So in this case, by the way, which is very similar to the color itself that's on the back of the phone. So you can see here's the phone, here's the case. This is cyan, and this is Nordic Blue. I think the naming was there, and I personally, I'm
there.
Once you put a case
Sorry,
on it,
I'm looking through my... By the way, this is a bag. This is just a bag full of truly wireless earbuds, by the way. Like, that's how many I have.
Is it a truly wireless back, though?
It is. There's just the handle wire.
Yeah, I remember that back, actually. I like those.
Yeah.
No, definitely. So that color apparently is a European exclusive. So yeah, the reason why I like this one is it just has that color matching kind of thing going on. And the one I have here in the US is just and of course this one's not gonna. And here we are. It's the white one. It's just white all around. And there's another one that's actually I think gray. Yeah. So, but Josh has been playing with those Buds for some time. Yeah, the case itself is actually nice. It reminds me a lot of, I like to say, if you can tell which one is which, then you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The Pixel Buds case, which looks very nice. But so we both put out a couple of videos. I think we're probably both also working on kind of to try to wrap up and put some more, content around it. Hopefully, maybe next week we'll see some stuff on both of our channels. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your impressions of the device, beyond the aesthetics, obviously with the color. How has it been? If you had to kind of put it, and I obviously, if you guys haven't checked out the video, Josh did put out a video as well. What's your kind of like maybe a small, quick snippet of the Nord? Something from OnePlus in this price range, especially when you now know the price point, which is a little bit different. It was a surprise even at the launch event for everybody.
Yes, 100%. There's a version of this phone that apparently is coming out in India that I think, honestly, oh man, that would have been, put that phone out in the US and you're just gonna, like, OnePlus would just dominate. Because
Absolutely.
it's, was it 6 gigs?
S- 6 gig 64, so it's a
64.
664 for about, when I did the translation in dollars, about $335. Like,
Okay, all the people who use iPhones always complain that their storage is low, and if OnePlus just sort of like embrace that and then just put out that phone here in the US, where everyone already complains about 64 gigabytes on an iPhone, well, we got 64 gigabytes on a OnePlus, okay, fine. But $330, that's $60 less than the freaking iPhone SE. That thing would be, everyone would buy that. Imagine every carrier pushing that phone.
absolutely, absolutely. Just that, the idea of what the Nord is bringing to the table is just, to me, is crazy. It's the most affordable 765G processing device that's on the market right now. An AMOLED display, a big AMOLED display, which is really interesting, and of course, it's a flat display, which a lot of people love. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing, and here is Josh is showing it for you guys right there. So on the screen, I love that wallpaper, by the way. Is that? Oh man, that looks almost like it's downtown Japan.
It is. It's Tokyo as depicted in Persona 5.
Nice. So it reminds me when I was at the Tokyo Tower. It's kind of like that view,
Yeah.
the top view down.
Oh no, wrong side. That's Tokyo Tower.
Tokyo
over
Tower.
here.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no, it's over here. Tokyo Tower's over here. There you go.
Exactly. It was just an absolute, wow, man. I miss Japan.
Yeah, same.
But it's a massive, it's a flat display, 1080p, 90 hertz refresh rate. Of course, we have the quad camera setup on the back, a dual camera setup on the front, and absolutely for $335 would have just literally, they didn't even have to advertise it. It's just like, here you go, sell it for 350 and you're done. And I think everybody
Yeah.
would just fall in love.
So the thing that I wanted to point out real quick, and the reason why I keep holding the phone up this close to the camera is that, like, look at this handling experience. Like, this is this is a very easy phone for someone like me who doesn't like the huge phones. Like, I will, like, I'm not an iPhone hater. It's just that the iPhone XS Max will always be the phone I despise. And it's not even because it was a bad phone. It's because I went for the Max model and it's the worst handling phone of all time, in my opinion.
It was definitely one of the bigger ones. I mean, it was the
Exactly.
big shift in size that they went.
This is right here, the middle ground that phone should be. It's easy to handle. One of my favorite things was yesterday I went to the LA Arboretum. Last night I just needed to get out of the house, so I went to the LA Arboretum and I took photos with this. And one of my favorite things was I'm filming it with my ZV-1, right? So I'm filming it with the ZV-1. I'm taking pictures with the phone, and then I can just easily like go here and then like preview it and all that. That kind of stuff always makes me feel better. Like quality of life. Quality of life is very important for a phone because you could have the absolute best specs, you could have all of the features in the world, but if it's not a joy to actually use, then what's the point, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, no. And in the UK, it sounds like £379 for the 128, which is the entry model that they have,
Yep.
is still, again, crazy for the price point that they're going in with. I think OnePlus is by far, they know what they're doing. They hyped it up, and then I think, in my opinion, they delivered on that hype with all the leaks and all the things that we saw, and then that one little surprise, because I had like my whole video set up, it was done, I recorded it, and I was ready to post, and I'm like listening to the announcement, and then Carl said, and we have 300, and then I think he mentioned the 2,500,000 rupees, which is roughly that 335, and I'm like, did I get the numbers wrong? and then after the video, after their live stream was gone, I got the announcement saying, no, there was a surprise. One more version is coming out in India. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm surprised. And I'm like, I can't reshoot my video. So might as well just put
Exactly.
it in the description.
we got our emails right after the announcement was done from one of our PR friends, and they were just like, "So I guess you heard during the show that
yeah, and
there's one more version we couldn't tell you about."
But they do that. It's not a uncommon thing to be done in the past. They always like to leave something for the event. I think Huawei's known to do that. Samsung's known to do that. A lot of things,
true.
which is also exciting because nobody saw that one coming. Now, surprisingly, there was a commenter on the video a few weeks back that said it was going for about $350 US, and I didn't know that when I didn't see something to reflect that, I wasn't sure. Maybe he made a mistake, or maybe the leak that he saw was just slightly off, with the little bar there. But I personally like what we see with the Nord. Honestly, the form factor is very nice. Personally, I prefer the curved displays that we see on the 8 and the 8 Plus. I realized that in 2020, OnePlus changed the formula for most of their devices. What they did essentially is they gave us curved displays on the 8 and the 8 Pro. I kept calling it the 8 Plus, and then of course now we have the new version of their device that has a flat display, and it coincidentally shares the same sensor as the OnePlus 8, which is really cool. That was the other cool little tidbit that I was nice surprised to see.
Yes.
Again, in a starting at $399. So I saw somewhere somebody was commenting it's 399 euros, which is roughly 425 US if you had to translate it correctly. So the reality is, yes, look at it at whichever way you want. If it starts at 8 gigs with 128 gigabytes of internal storage for about $400, 420. The iPhone SE starts at what, $399 with a 64 gig internal storage, and you have to jump another $100 to be able to get $50 for the next level, and then another.
Wasn't it 8 128 and then 8 256? That was the 399 499.
I thought the other one was the 256 for the 499 model. They did 664, 8 120, 8 128, 12 256.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. I can pull up my video at some point, but the answer to what we're getting here, essentially, it's a great value for what you're trying to get with, and of course,
it definitely feels that way, right? And you are now on the Velvet, which was the first phone that I got that showed that the 765G. Don't go sleeping on it. Like, just because it's not like the 865, epic graphics in Call of Duty Mobile. That, like, who cares? It's a great everyday processor, and on top of all of that, I mean, I heard from, I'm not going to say who, but I heard from a company. Actually, you know what I can say? Sony. So we're going to talk about this later. But Sony said that with the US version of their Xperia 1 Mark II, which, yes, I do have it in the house now.
Teaser. Yeah.
Yeah, teaser. They said that they didn't really push for 5G on this phone in the US because they're not happy with but they don't think that the US infrastructure for 5G is quite there yet. So there's no reason for them to have 5G fully capable on this phone in the US. Like, okay, cool. But the thing is, on the 765G, on phones that are $399, you got 5G. Like, it's you're ready for it, is what I'm saying. And compared to phones that typically are around this price point, I think that phones like the Velvet, phones like the Nord, I think that compared to other mid-range devices, this one will actually last you. These should last you at least another. I want to say, if you take care of it, you can get 2 good years out of this thing.
Oh, absolutely. OnePlus, one of their biggest thing is that they promised 2 software updates to this. So we'll see the Android 11, we'll definitely 11 and definitely 12, because it launched with 10. So my assumption is 11 and 12 will be coming to it, and 3 years of security patch updates. So you're not going to be left alone. This is the thing that I think differentiates the Nord from many other mid-range devices, specifically in the Asian market, like the India Asian markets. You're looking at devices that are, I mean, it's going into a big market. Isa and I last week were talking, and she mentioned that the Nord is coming into a pre-existing, I guess, a series of devices that are mid-rangers that are priced right around that. Last week we were kind of guessing on the price point. Coincidentally, I got my Nord on Monday night. So when I was talking to Isa last week, I didn't actually have any information on it. So it was it was a surprise. I get it literally. But in the US or even in Europe, we do have other devices in the market, but I think it's the OnePlus service, the support, their commitment to speed. And I have to say, the phone it is very smooth. There's no, you have no inclination this is not running an 8 series processor. You really wouldn't even know from a general usage. Except when you start getting into games and you notice some of the limitations in there. I don't really feel like I am running a 7 series. I do like some of the new options that we saw there. So for photography, for you, definitely front-facing camera, that was a surprise to me.
The dual with the wide angle
on a front-facing camera, and we have 4K 60 no less. Not just 4K.
So there are a lot of people who are saying in our videos. I don't know if you
Yeah.
got these comments on your things, but how could an 8 megapixel sensor put out 4K resolution? Because when you do the math, an 8 megapixel sensor is not the size of a 4K frame. Well,
No.
here's the thing. It actually is. There are a lot of products out there where the sensors were literally tuned for the 3840 by 2160. So it's actually like the products out there that are actually made to hit that spec are like security cameras. But here's the other thing: an 8 megapixel sensor, especially on a camera or on a smartphone camera, is actually a 4:3 ratio.
It
So
is.
if you're
It's a
worried
crop
about
view already to start.
there you go. You're already cropping in. So you have enough of that surface area. It's just cropping into the sensor to make that 16:9 aspect ratio. So yeah, 8 megapixel is the bare minimum for 4K. It just needs to be tweaked a little bit. And I was actually doing a lot of research on it because a lot of people were saying that. And I kept thinking, is OnePlus like, are they upscaling, the sensor or anything like that? No, actually, it seems that there are plenty of products out there. We haven't confirmed this with OnePlus, but there are plenty of products out there that are a 8 megapixel sensor, but specifically tuned to the 4K resolution. So it looks like it's possible.
It is, and so from what I like about it is the fact that we have a 4K. So that's my thing. And on the front-facing camera, that's something that we haven't had on any OnePlus device. Even the 8 series don't have that, which is really cool for me.
That's true.
So what I would say is make sure to keep it tuned for both of us. We're going to have more content, more videos. I've been playing a lot of games on this since I've had it on Monday night. So gaming for me is it's a big factor because I like mobile gaming. My son loves mobile gaming, and we are going to talk about mobile gaming in a second with the ROG phone.
Look at us
And
with our teases, right?
you gotta tease people. 'Cause it's a nice little sit down morning chat, right? So we gotta throw in a little bit of pieces. But I'm actually excited. There's a few obviously compromises. It's not perfect by any means. You're not getting the flagship of all of there are some corners cut, and we'll talk about those. One surprising one that was obviously a lot of people I think were kind of talked about is the headphone jack. That's something to me it felt like I think that should have been there. I don't know why it didn't show up. But then you kind of have the whole.
So
you know, do you want-
here's how we should pivot this then, because the thing is, like, yeah, there's no headphone jack, but clearly the reason why is because they were pushing these. But
True, and Carl did actually answer that question on MKBHD's video, which is. I remember because they dropped that video like I think was it Sunday, like after a couple of days after you and I met.
yeah, I think
If you
so.
haven't had it, yeah, but I agree. I honestly think it is. There's these headphones. There's also their existing what's it called, the Bullets Z and the Bullets 2.
Which leads me to my main question for you, actually,
Mm-hmm.
is how do you feel about these buds?
So I've had the Buds for about I would say maybe 48 hours total. What I feel like right now is I feel like they're not complete. They're missing a few things, and what I mean by that is one of the biggest things that they talked about is that you get more features to control these buds on your OnePlus. But what most people haven't really got a chance to see yet is that feature turned on a OnePlus device. So we need an
there's
OTA.
an update, yeah.
Yeah, there's an update that hasn't been pushed out yet. So one of the reasons why I'm kind of a little bit waiting on pushing out my review, because I feel like maybe we're missing a certain tweak that will make them sound a lot better. They sound okay. I'm not saying they're not like, they're not going to be good for music, listening music, but like I don't get the controls. The controls are missing. I feel like, just a single double tap function on both ears that does the exact same thing right now.
Yeah, that's
Like
supposed to be customizable.
So that's what I mean. Yeah, I feel like it's
yeah.
a missing that. So that since the experience isn't full,
But I'm just not, I'm never quite a fan of this construction. Like, it's not, these are like original AirPod status. Now, first of all,
Gen
they're
1, yeah.
Yeah, first of all, they're super light. They are incredibly light. And just like the original AirPods, and I know people don't really think about earbuds the way that I do, I'm the guy who actually wears once in a while. I wish Issa was in the chat because she would actually call me out on this. But there are times when I do wear waterproof earbuds in the shower. And there are times when I sleep with earbuds in, just to have, I'm the kind of person that needs stuff in the background a lot. I'm trying to fix that, by the way. But yeah, these, just like the original AirPods, I can easily fall asleep with and they don't hurt my ears whatsoever. So, kind of a weird thing, if you're into that, these can do that. But yeah, there's not as much bass because of the way these are made. I'll give them credit that because of the open back design or the open design, there's plenty of environmental awareness. No ANC, no ambient sounds or anything like that. But I gotta tell you, like, I'll give OnePlus a lot of credit for knowing that their buds are coming into an incredibly crowded market right now. And it's for that reason that these at $79, you know what? I can't knock it too hard.
No, and the cool thing is these are coming to the US. This is not this isn't really a kind of like a Nord launch in it. So you're able to pick them up. They had a pre-sale, I think was it the next day after the launch on Wednesday morning at like 11 a.m. Eastern or like 8 a.m. our time. And they sold out in like 2 seconds, which is typical, but they only had the white one. So I was lucky enough to pick up at least a pair and they shipped it out pretty quickly. I got mine on Friday night. I think the design is definitely heavily inspired from AirPods. We know that, and I think a lot of companies have done that. I think what probably would have, like I said, is just to have the OTA ready at the time. But I feel like since most people don't have them anyways, I think it's a smaller number. Like we have them, and again with the pre-sale that they did, it was a small number of pre-sales that they did. So we'll definitely have more to say about the buds themselves. I think from a comfort level, they're very comfortable. They do sound, you're able to get the volume level up. It does work directly with OnePlus devices for that additional tuning. So there's an extra audio boost that you're able to do with the audio. And then of course the Dirac tuner to customize the experience. They're not going right now. They're not competing I wouldn't say they sound as good as the buds, the Pixel buds.
They don't even sound as good as their own Bullets Wireless.
Yeah, which is the other thing. I think they already have like a much better product out there. The Bullets Wireless 2, by far, I feel like the best sounding for the money, like about $99, a little bit more than this one.
And honestly, if battery life is big for you, like get the neck bands. Like stop thinking they look weird. They do, but whatever. Like the battery life is amazing.
Lose them.
There you go.
And you won't lose them. That's it'll be one of those. But we'll have to see how those compare. I think overall the experience with the buds right now is, like I said, needing that OTA. My hope is that there will be also an update for it to update the actual buds. They will work slightly differently with OnePlus devices than other devices. So that was the other thing that I think a lot of reviewers mentioned. They're really meant to be used with OnePlus phones. That's how you get the best.
They pair so easily.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no. I opened it up, I put it in, and it was literally like less than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's the experience that you want to get. They're going to be available in 2 colors in the US. So there'll be the white one, which is the one we talked about. And I think there's a gray or a black one. And the Nordic
the best
blue,
looking one we don't get.
no, that one goes to the European market from what I understand. So Matt, we'll have to talk a little bit later on, buddy. Yeah, I personally like the blue one. I know, I think Isa mentioned a certain Fisher-Price looking concept going on there. You know what? Yeah, you're right. The green on blue kind of has a little bit of a Fisher-Price kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
Matt is, sorry, we have Andrew Wallace, of course, Aditya Anil in the comments as well. Good morning, everybody, and Gary. So yeah, I think for me right now, it's a very positive experience with the Nord. Very happy that we got a hands-on with it. I was a little bit worried I was going to have to wait till the pre-orders come out, which, by the way, I think they go out August 4th, if I'm not mistaken. So for people looking forward to that, looks like early August for when people will be able to pick them up in Europe on Amazon and OnePlus, and in India and Asia through OnePlus, and Amazon as well in India. So a lot of cool things. We'll have to see. And we'll have to find hopefully some cool cases as well, because I think the cases that we got are OnePlus cases. So I'm waiting to see some of the third-party cases, and that's a special one. Yeah.
On that note, like it's just I don't really. It's hard for me. I love a good case. Don't get me wrong. The sandstone cases that OnePlus makes are always my favorite. But I'm gonna do this anyway to it. Like,
the Moft case.
Yeah, I'm always gonna do that anyway. So like, as much as I love cases, like I end up changing it up anyway. So I don't know.
Well, what you have right there is actually a really cool feature, that little kickstand case. And I think you also you did a video on that one not that long ago, and it's a great accessory for almost any phone. And I just did a video for their convertible sleeve for laptops.
Oh, Yeah, right here.
And I'm assuming you have yours as
I
well.
only have okay. The only problem I have with this sleeve is that when I have my current, like I'm, so I just reviewed a laptop on my channel, and it's been a while since I've
The
like I really
Creator.
want to, yeah, the Creator 17, which is a massive, just
It
it's a
absolute
beauty.
beast. It's a
It's a
beast.
beast.
It is a beast. Yeah.
But it is a really good laptop, but it just works a lot better as a desktop ultimately because it's a 17-inch laptop and all that.
Oh yeah.
I moved over to another laptop that unfortunately I've been delaying on because the Creator 17, in case anybody doesn't know, was actually a collaboration with Michael Fisher
Absolutely.
and with Mr.
Great
Mobile.
one, by the way. Yeah. No, I love that little piece. The intro between the two of you there on his channel was like, it was on point right
Oh,
there.
that was actually all him. When he scripted that together, he actually had that in mind. So
Okay.
like when he said that, I was like, this is a great idea. Yes, for sure. And then he had me do a couple of minutes just about PC gaming because the man only plays X-Wing Alliance on. But anyway, it's a great laptop. But I moved over to a different laptop that is it's actually not super new. But I want to shout it out real quick because I think laptops are getting really fun right now because just like with smartphones with like the Nord and the Velvet, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a bit, specifications are at a point now where you know you're getting something good and you don't have to try so hard. Like you just have to put a little bit of research into it, maybe check the cooling system, make sure it doesn't overheat, and make sure that the thermals are good. But yeah, like even brands like this is the Main Gear. This is Main Gear. Main Gear is a components manufacturer.
Oh
And
wow.
what
Okay.
and what they did was they took this design, which was actually created by Intel themselves. They white labeled the design and they said, you know what, if you want to use it, use it. So Manger was like, okay, we'll use it. This has last year's i7, has the
Okay.
2070 Max Q, great
Not bad.
specs at 15 inches. I love this thing. And I feel bad because I've had it for a little while. They're waiting on my review. But then the collaboration came up and I had to prioritize that. But yeah, I'm going to review it this week. And I got to say, right now, because I'm finally going back to my office, and TK knows my struggle with going to my office and whatnot. Now that I'm going back to my office, I need a better laptop because I have a 1650 laptop and that's fine, but I need like at least like a 2060 laptop.
A 2060 or 2070, and I think so the laptop that you can review, I think is a 2070, right? I think when you
Yeah, that one was 2070 Max Q. This one's
yeah
2070. My desktop, which we're doing this call on, is also an MSI desktop. This has a 2080. I am spoiled.
2080 right back here, a 2080 Ti, absolute beast. That's why I'm like driving two monitors, and I was supposed to have my Odyssey G9. My whole goal today was I wanted to have a G9 and so what you guys are noticing back there here is this is the 34-inch Me monitor that went through the announcement. So Josh and I were working on the review for that when I mounted that. My goal was to have that on top of the G9. So where you normally see the TK Bay in the background, that was going to be a G9 covering coast to coast. It'll go from one side of me to the other. But that didn't happen. The G9's having a little bit of I don't know, either supply issue, recall issue, whichever, but it seems like a QC kind of a thing, a quality control that I think
I mean,
Samsung is putting.
just imagine what they're trying to make with that. How do you perfect the manufacturing process of a screen like that?
It's apt. I mean, it has been the one monitor that I've wanted ever since I saw it at CES. I had a chance to play a little bit of gaming on it in maybe because there was a whole line of people trying to play with it. And just the sheer width, the resolution, the refresh rate, 240 hertz on a monitor. It's a 1440p. I mean, obviously we're not talking 4K, but it's crazy fast and it's crazy big. So for me, it's like running multiple displays, playing games, watching content. And what I found now is with the two setups in the background right there is that I do end up doing that. So I'm like playing Control on the top, at 144 hertz, with the better resolution there. And I'm using the bottom display to do my editing. So I can or have any kind of media running, Twitter, Instagram, and so on. So a lot of cool things going on there.
Anyway, back to my my thought real quick.
The laptop.
I have the Peak Design 20 liter, And this is a 15-inch laptop, this main gear, and I do absolutely love it. One thing that I do want to just sort of mention real quick. First of all, the screen has very minimal bezels, which is really nice to see. 1080p, high refresh rate, 144 hertz. But
Nice game.
apparently, there's like mechanical switches in this keyboard, and it's not like full mechanical. Like it's a very loose term. But
Yeah.
the sound is real nice. Like I gotta.
And
I
the
like
fans
sound.
on the back look like a little bit like an MSI fan. The grill in the back,
A
for
little
the
bit, yeah.
yeah,
Dude, this thing sounds like it's gonna go into like fourth gear at all times.
absolutely.
But here's the thing: that Moft case hybrid thing that we were just talking about, this in that will not fit in my bag. So
Together, okay. So I tried using my MSI gaming laptop on that one, and I could not fit my. So I've used MSI laptops for a long time, and I still have my 15.6 one from last year, and it will not fit. So for MacBooks, for Ultra, like for the MateBooks, that works perfectly fine for my, I think my Pixel Book. The Pixel Book Go that we have also worked great. Thicker laptop, sadly, it doesn't, but it works great as a case, and we'll look forward to seeing that on your content there. Quick question that's coming in the super chat here. I want to say Zamal Lika. I want to say good morning. Had a question on he's trying to find out what is it that we're rocking right now. That's the typical question that Josh has at the end of the Pocket Now podcast usually.
Oh yeah.
What are you rocking right now, Josh?
What is in your pocket now?
Yeah, what is on the TK Tech Show Saturday morning with Ed? It's a mess.
It's funny.
It's tough.
It's tough. It is tough right now because there are a lot of really good ones. And I made this point on. Where did I make this point? I want to say it was on Matt Tyler, if he's still in the chat. He can corroborate whether or not I said this on Across the Podcast. But I'm actually more excited about 765G phones than I am 865 and 865 Plus phones right now. And I know we're going to talk about an 865 Plus phone in a bit, but
Absolutely.
because of that, and I get it. I get it. We review these phones, so it's easy to say that any phone we're reviewing right now is the phone we're using. But I gotta say, you know what? Once our reviews are done, just because I enjoy the handling and how easy it is to mess with, a few of the choices, I gotta say the Nord might actually become my daily driver. That is not me giving it an endorsement in terms of a review. It's just me saying that the person in me who's not a reviewer and just wants an easy everyday phone, like I actually kind of feel like the Nord hits a lot of those marks.
Absolutely. I think we're in somewhat of at least for me, it feels like I'm in a somewhat of a 765G season. I haven't had a 765G literally till last Friday when I borrowed the velvet, the green color velvet, which I really wish was coming to the US, and it may still come to the US with other carriers.
You're just going to see a lot of silvers right now because I think we talked to our PR friends. I think they only have silvers to give right now.
Yeah, and so silvers is the one that we got. We got that's what the one I have is the AT&T model as well. So for me, what I see here is there's a lot of potential. I mean, it is exciting. It's a new not form factor. It's a new. I think it's a category that it hasn't really been given a lot of attention in previous years. And I think in 2020, we're noticing now companies are going into it. We saw the V60 that came out. We heard about the Velvet coming into the Asian market, and then we heard that it's coming to Europe. And then lo and behold, boom, it's here in the US, $599. And I feel like it's a great segment for us to kind of jump into that. So to kind of answer your question, as far as my daily driver right now, it literally is these guys. It's two 765G modeled phones. The Nord for sure. Again, I feel like OnePlus was able to capture the essence of the 8 and the 8 Pro, like in a lot of ways in the Nord, and one of the reasons why I really like it. So yeah, it's 765G all around for me. It's and I'm laughing mostly because about a week ago I probably wouldn't have said that. I don't think I would have said that. I would have said totally like a whole bunch of I knew that we knew there was rumors coming out that that the launch event for the new ROG phone was going to come out. I was trying very hard to try to get my hands on one. So for me, it's 765, OnePlus, and LG, and both of these devices are surprising me a lot. There's a lot to be loved about those guys, and you'll see more videos on that. I'm hoping to have my video for the Velvet tomorrow morning. I'm a little bit late, but I had a whole few things that I need to kind of knock out, sponsored stuff that I had to shoot out this week, and definitely we'll talk. But let's talk a little bit about the Velvet. So I took your Velvet literally and then of course on Sunday I remember Matt was trying to mess with you. He was like, "Hey, show us your Velvet." I was like, at the end of the chat there.
Yeah, I remember. When I got to that point, I was just like, I know that we said let's talk about the Velvet, but I don't have. I can still talk about it, but I can't. I can't really show it.
No.
By the way,
it was.
Our talk. Look what I found. I found the little guy.
Oh, you found the adapter.
Yeah.
So I lost my V60 one, but I now have new one, obviously with the package that I got from LG. So and if I was watching, by the way, Juan Carlos put out his video on his review of the LG Velvet. I think was it yesterday.
And he's also in the chat. Shouts out to Juan.
Juan, yeah, JC, I didn't see you in there, man. But yeah, so he actually ended up buying an extra one of those little adapters. Speaking of which, that you were talking about,
how much is this? Do you know?
I think he said it was about $9.
No, $9.
And he said
I don't
they
like
may
that.
be back. Well, hey, remember the adapter that what's it called? Google used to make us buy.
One? Yeah,
yeah, it was roughly about $10 still. I feel like that's the
should be $5. I can't believe that this costs more than a latte.
Well, it depends on what you add into the latte. If it's a beer mug with coffee and, and coconut butter and I don't know. It may be that price. Yeah,
especially if it's homemade.
Exactly, with a frosted mug. For those nice, cool summer days. $9, exactly $9 exact. So I was watching his show. And Aditya, of course, wants to throw that in. It's over 9,000. It is over 9,000 certified sane, my friend. Yes, no, definitely. It overall, I think as an accessory, I feel like you need to have an extra one because of the ease of use. For me in the car, that was my only thing, because every time I took it in the car, if I needed to plug it in, I need to take it out, or I need to basically make sure to bring that adapter. So I think it's a good thing. $9, although maybe maybe a little bit not too much there. So the package that I got was a little bit different than I think what you guys originally got back in the day. I think that was more the global edition. This is more the US. And luckily, I still have my my bamboo pen from the V60 review that I was doing, and so I'm able to use it there. The approach to the Velvet is a little bit different than the V60. Obviously, they are treated slightly differently. The UI, the customization. And I think about the one thing that I really, really surprised me, and I'm really happy about it, which is and some of you guys may find that to be very, like not important. Like, I can't believe this is the number one thing TK is enjoying. It's the fact that I can change the swipe down on the home screen. I can change it to actually open the notification panel on an LG device. That used to drive me crazy. I realize some people love universal search or quick search, whichever, the swipe function. And LG finally says, you know what? Yeah, we'll let you swipe down notification. It's a big phone. You should be able to do it. And it's just this little swipe.
Nice. Yeah.
And you have the option of keeping it as a universal search. Absolutely.
Well, because what is the move we usually do? Like, you got to move it down, and then you got to bring your finger all the way.
You have
there.
to, exactly, or activate the physical buttons and then add the button to open a notification. I felt like this was a great way to bring it in.
Which, by the way, speaking of swipe down actions, I know I don't mean to jump around too much, but Oxygen OS, a swipe down for the shelf is actually, I just discovered that recently, and I love that because now I don't have to put widgets on the actual home screens. You just put it in the shelf. So I'm into that.
That's a good. I normally don't change that. So I've loved that the swipe down to notification in OnePlus in the OnePlus launcher has been a standard for me. So I tend to never look to change it. For LG, it's always been like every time they release a new phone, they seem to fix little pieces. Like they learn from what they released before. So what we saw with the V60, the implementation of the dual screen, they followed the same recipe, right? They gave us matching panels on both sides. They gave us similar resolutions. There's no change of resolution. Great native support for the pen in the box. And this time, actually, when you guys got your packages, you guys talked about the fact that the bamboo pen works with it. It wasn't something that we had to go find out on our own. And of course, it was purely a discovery thing. Juan Carlos and I were sitting in one of our live streams doing our conversation, and I think was it Viper that jumped into our comments, and he said, check the phone. It has pen support. And of course, Juan and I will like start jumping. I'm like, serious? And because we looked for pencil or pen, and it was I think it was worded slightly differently. But again, very happy, and I'm looking forward to actually using it a lot longer. And testing out 5G on AT&T is a little bit different in my area. It's not as fast. I was hoping that it was faster than what we normally get.
Same.
I don't know for you. Yeah, we no longer have the E. It's true 5G.
Yep.
So we lost the E. It's not extra special. It's just regular special now. But yeah, so we have 5G, and so I'm excited about that. And we also have, obviously, the Nord supports 5G in the US as well on T-Mobile. For me, works absolutely great. I may end up testing out to see how it works on AT&T 5G.
Honestly, I don't mean this is not a bag on T-Mobile or AT&T or anything like that. This has just been my experience. The only real true 5G experience I've had that has been memorable has honestly just been Verizon, to be honest. Like
Verizon for me, yeah, because you get that wow, you get that wow, shocking, like what the heck on a phone, serious. But I've only been able to see it when we were in Maui last year, so that was my thing. They had a test setup area where they were testing it out, and it was just like jaw dropping fast, like ridiculous. This is what I want.
It's the same exact story as when 4G became a thing, because it wasn't until I got, what was the phone, the HTC, what was it called, Droid DNA. It wasn't until I got the Droid DNA that it was one of the first phones on Verizon to support 4G LTE, and that was a revelation. Like, that was great. So I feel like that's the reason why that's the reason why I'm expecting that my true 5G experience is going to start with Verizon, probably.
Yeah, no, the reason why I mentioned the speeds on this is I wanted to kind of circle back to that statement that you made at the beginning with Sony, right? The way Sony decided to come in with this conversation is they didn't feel like what we're getting right now in the US as far as 5G is really the 5G that they're able to, it's there. We have different standards. We have the sub-6, we have the millimeter wave, the UW, the ultra-wide band. And at the end of the day, realistically, speeds, though, are not that much faster. I mean, they're a little bit faster, but it's not enough for it to be like, oh my God. Like, if you use the 4G LTE, you may actually in certain areas get pretty much the same speed as what 5G is, depending on how the network's been set up. Has it been upgraded exactly, and what the actual coverage is available from the provider. T-Mobile and Sprint are merging, so we are supposed to start seeing some improvements on T-Mobile 5G connectivity in certain areas. But for me, at least, Sprint didn't have 5G to start with. So I know in Pasadena, different area, Juan Carlos and I last year had a chance to go to an event in, I think, was it Marina Del Rey, Juan Carlos? And we played around with the 5G on Sprint, and that actually was not bad. It was close to around 500, like 400 to 500 megabits down, where we now get is roughly about maybe a maximum of 100. So looking forward to seeing how things are. Very happy that we're seeing more improvements, and I can't wait for carriers. Speaking of T-Mobile, your favorite phone actually is coming to T-Mobile finally. The Samsung Z Flip 5G. That was a nice little announcement from Samsung out of the blue for no reason at all.
Yeah, with the $200 premium.
Well, yeah, but that, I mean, yeah, no.
I've never been happier to be an early adopter, because it's great when like a new version of your phone or a product that you bought comes out, and then they up the price, and you're like, oh, thank God, I got it. I got it at the right time.
You got a good deal. And so the upgrade that they did, I think, was substantial. Well, so the price point change, for the most part, accounts for a few things. Specifically the 865 Plus, not the 865. So it's a next-gen chipset that hasn't even been out yet, or is not out. I think the only device that announced it officially was the ROG Phone 3. But it's also the X55 modem, so it's going to be supporting a better processor and a better modem. So hopefully it will make people happy, because I think that's something that people were kind of a little bit questioning. It's like, why would you release a Z Flip at the same time as you're releasing a 5G line of S20s, right? Everything was S20, everything was the 865, and then you released the Z Flip with an 855 in 2020. So it was kind of like that weird, oh, by the way, we forgot to launch this last year, here you go kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
but I feel like they finally updated. So the Z Flip is for sure. If you're looking for a Z Flip, it's coming, and T-Mobile will have it for a very nice extra premium. I think it's pretty much now $1,500 now. I think
so.
roughly.
I think it's $14.99. Yeah, it's I gotta stop buying phones. Like it's because as much as I adore the Z Flip, and what's another phone that I bought that I'm really into, the Note 10, because the red one, we didn't have the red one for like 8 months.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, you got it when you went to Europe.
So I gotta stop buying the phones because as much as I adore these devices, we have so many things coming in that end up like addressing the few things that we maybe didn't like on the phone we actually bought. So yeah, that's the only thing. Like as much as I adore the Z Flip, there are plenty of better cameras at this point.
Yeah,
And
no,
that's
definitely.
the one thing that gets me.
I love the form factor. I think it's. I would have wished they would have increased slightly the battery on it. I think that if it was one thing I would love about it, not to say that the improvement in the processor was there, but I feel like now you gave us a better processor, more what people wanted, but you kept the battery, which I feel like now may not be as much. But either way, I'm looking forward to the Fold 2, which I'm hoping they'll make an announcement for that. Rumors on that, though, is hopefully another smaller event later on after. So it's not going to be part of Unpacked, which is in a couple of weeks.
Every single event now is a small event because we can't even be there.
Exactly. Speaking of which, so you mentioned at the beginning you're drinking your I'm assuming so your coffee with the coconut and
So the term would be bulletproof coffee, but
the bulletproof, yeah.
Term would be bulletproof coffee. I tend to just say keto coffee. So.
I drank my Boss coffee earlier this week, so unfortunately I don't have that with me, which thank you very much, by the way. But I'm just having my normal, just basically tea and coffee mixture, so the yin yang. I like to mix both my tea and coffee together, not sweetened, so straight. And of course, Dragon Ball cup, as Dragon Ball would be. I think Goku would be happy doing them justice. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about the other announcement. Obviously, there was the other announcement that happened this week. The Z Flip was one. The other one was the ROG Phone 3.
So I'm one of the people who are on the after list. Just to give people a behind the scenes thing, I don't get ROG stuff before the announcement, or like leading up to it, rather, is the term I should use. I get it after it goes on sale. Like I still get it from Asus, but it's after it's already on sale. So I want to be able to. I do have the ROG 2 though, but
which is what I've been flashing here.
Yeah,
and for people thinking this is the 3, no, this is the 2. You can see the design. Yeah, that's the 2.
Yeah,
one of my favorite phones.
I know that some people have already got their reviews out on it and whatnot, and I had a couple of people asking like, "Where's your thought on it?" Blah blah blah, and I'm like, you know what? This is one of those few relationships I don't quite have yet. So
no, I hope. We're all looking forward to seeing some of that because I think last year we also saw your coverage on the ROG Phone 2 as well. So it's one of the. It's an interesting device because it's really a gaming phone that, to a certain extent, caused the whole Plus series of processors that we have now that we kind of look forward to. I think I saw it somewhere where the reason why even Qualcomm created the Plus processor was because ROG or Asus wanted a special version of their processor specifically made for a gaming phone.
Yeah.
And of course, Qualcomm made one, and then a lot of other companies liked it. And of course, that's what made the 855 Plus, and now we obviously have the 865. So now a two SKU or SKU model of a same processor, one overclocked, one normal. I was actually kind of surprised. There was a few things in there that surprised me, not necessarily in a positive way from the announcement, because I also don't have the phone, so I can't really make an entire call on it. But the omission of the headphone jack, that was a little bit of a surprise for me.
Yeah, right.
Gaming phone without a headphone jack when latency is a big thing and Bluetooth is not there. I'll have to see how it goes.
They should have had something to cover that. They should have had like a OnePlus Buds or something like that. Because one cool thing about the OnePlus Buds that actually I feel like a lot of us, we always forget to touch upon this, but when you use the OnePlus Buds with a OnePlus device and you turn on Fanatic mode, which is the gaming mode, the latency drops down to a very low amount. So you can actually get a low latency experience from it.
As
Which,
best as you can with Bluetooth. That's one thing that
yes,
there's
I think they
because
rated it
they
at somewhere like 105 milliseconds or something like that.
right about.
Yeah, so that's great. It's great to see low latency being prioritized.
Mm-hmm.
But like we said earlier with the OnePlus Buds, if latency is low, that's great. But if sound is not amazing, what's the point? So
You're compromising one over the other, and generally that's what happens when you increase the quality of the audio, the codec. You're not able to get the low latency because it's pushing a lot more. So it's a compromise between the two. So for me, the headphone jack not being a part of ROG Phone 3 is. So I mean, and one thing I do want to say, they did try to compensate. So in the announcement, they talked about that the front-facing speakers on the ROG Phone 3 are improved over what we had before. So they're better, they're louder, they're bassier. So they're wanting people to play games without using headphones. So it sounds like that's the goal. That's where they're driving the experience to. And of course, actually, I take that back. There is an accessory that you can get, and I'm not sure if it'll be part of the package or not, but that's that external fan. Mm-hmm. And they included the headphone jack in that external fan, but the reality of the matter is, how many of us are going to carry the external fan with you when you're driving, when you're using this device as your daily driver? It's an extra accessory that bulks it up.
I get where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I get where you're coming from with that, but if I was just using the phone as a general everyday device, then it would be Bluetooth anyway. Right. Mm-hmm. So then when I want to get into gaming, competitive gaming, stuff like that, it seems to me that just like in the world of gaming laptops, I showed off the main gear earlier, there are certain features that manufacturers tend to prioritize as like, this is what a gaming feature is. And to them, a headphone jack is like, this is when you're trying to frag people in PUBG. Like this is for that. But then for every other type of game, like your Monument Valleys, your Stardew Valleys, and all those things like that, that's like just have your Bluetooth in. Like, it's okay. Just be a casual gamer. Like chill out.
I love Monument Valley. Monument Valley is absolutely one of the best. Monument Valley 2 is also.
Yeah, I get the discrepancy they're trying to make, but it's just weird to me. Because like we are seeing in the chat right now, like a headphone jack would be nice when I just want to listen to music, though. Yeah. So, and not everybody has the money to put down for, let's say, $350 ANC Bluetooth wireless headphones. Like not everyone has that. People might have the money to put down for a triple driver wired piece of headphones, like this One More I'm using. So the One Mores I think I don't remember what the price is. Stacy was in the chat, but yeah, like. But yeah, I mean, I get the discrepancy they're trying to make, but it's just kind of odd to me how they're trying to really put those goalposts between things. Like the headphone jack is really only for when you need low latency gaming. And I'm like, really? Exactly. Is that all you think about? Is that what your whole office does?
they haven't listened to the Sony or even the V60 yet, because you'll get a better understanding of how the Sony headphone, because they actually have a dedicated jack on the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II or the Xperia 1 2. You'll get into that name. I struggled with that for weeks every time I want to call the phone.
Xperia 1
I was about to say that, but I felt like somebody will go in the chat right there and say, "I Captain, yes."
But yeah, like here's a thought. Someone in the chat, I think Samuel right over there, was saying that I would never rock a gaming phone as a daily driver because I'm not a hardcore gamer. I see where he's coming from with that, and I actually feel very similarly. As a matter of fact, you were saying that you're gaming a lot on the OnePlus Nord. So am I. But I am not gaming on it the way you would think. I have actually gotten into Steam. Was it Steam Link and Steam PS4 Remote Play? Technically, this is not mobile gaming, but it's what I've been doing the most on these phones. So it's different, the way that I'm approaching these things. So a gaming phone, what would I end up doing? Like with the Black Shark 3 Pro, what I ended up doing was I did PS4 Remote Play. And the reason why I don't do, I'm going to do videos on these phones, don't get me wrong. It's just, it's hard for me to do that because I have to make the effort to play the games that this phone is made for. PS4 Remote Play, it's not made for that. You have to
give it justice, yeah. You have to give it the time, and you have to actually, do the actual experience, so you're able to share your personal experience with it. You're right. No, it's one of those. I feel like the gaming phones are interesting because if you think about it, the spec sheet that we have, with the exception of the audio and the cooling part of it, it's very similar to OnePlus 8 Pro, right? I mean, we're not really talking where it's really so much different. We have 12 gigs of RAM, we have a mass amount of UFS 3.1 storage, LPDDR5 RAM, all of the things that you normally think of a gaming experience on the OnePlus 8, the 8 Pro, which is about $999 at the best version of it, and of course it has 120 hertz refresh rate with QHD. Yep. Now it's not 144, I understand. But this is where I kind of look at it. It's like, the dedication or the specific title of a gaming phone is, for me, when I look at it, I mean, we have the Red Magic, we have the Black Shark, we have ROG. Those are kind of staples of the ecosystem. Republic of Gamers, by definition, it's in the title. It's, ROG. So it seemed like 144 is the thing. We're obviously getting it at 1080p. We're not going to be receiving high, like a QHD version of this. I actually kind of expected them to either offer two versions, a QHD 120 on the ROG Phone 3 and a 1080p 144. They chose to go with the 144, which I feel like it's the speed, right? You want to go to the next level. All in all, my hope is at some point I'll be able to get a chance to play with the ROG Phone 3 to see, is it that much of a big difference from ROG Phone 2. I picked up mine for about $400 from China when I was in Shenzhen last year, and this phone gets used every day for gaming. I still use this phone. The 6,000 milliamp battery is absolutely a beast. Massive battery, not as fast charging. And I never use the cameras. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't buy this phone for cameras. The triggers.
Apparently, it's not bad though, right?
It's supposed to be better, but again, it's do you buy? You buy the ROG?
What did you get it for? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Is it the phone for the camera, or did you buy it for gaming and those aesthetics? Sam did actually drop a super chat. Look, changed my Google profile pic. Love this chat. Josh is legitimately awesome guy, definitely. So he changed. Okay, so Sam, you changed your Google photo, but for some reason on my side, I still see your old picture, bud. I don't see this. I don't see the beard, man. I don't see the scuff. What happened? I gotta go check it out.
You know what? It's funny. Okay, so before we got onto the show, I was thinking like, should I shave and whatnot? And the thing is, you can't even tell. I get it. Like, I can't grow facial hair. I will never be on the level of a TK. But when I was looking in the mirror before we came on the show, I was waiting for my coffee to brew. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let the scruff stay because this is what this week has been.
It's a rough kind of week. It's a rough week, and it seems like it's going to get busier and busier as time goes on.
100%.
I have a few videos planned for next week. I want to do more videos on the Nord. I feel like we had the unboxing. There's a few videos that are online right now, but I feel like hopefully next week we'll be able to do a little bit more deep diving. The Velvet, I want to do at least. Go ahead.
Yeah. The thing that quick answer to I guess that's the Periscope chat. I'm actually using an Olympus camera right now. It's just HDMI'd into a capture card, and then that's what you're seeing right now. Anyway.
The gamers too over. Oops, sorry. TK-ception. we will get to the TK-ception in a little bit for sure.
Yeah.
It's a new segment.
The things that you just mentioned about the options of the ROG Phone 3 and all of these things, doesn't that sound familiar? All of that? High battery life, different refresh rates on different screens, different resolutions, all of these different features that companies like Asus are trying to provide, Black Shark and all that. Doesn't that sound familiar? Gaming laptops, gaming desktops. That's exactly what happened in the gaming world. And now a lot of those features are starting to bleed into the rest of the gaming lexicon, the computing lexicon. For example, a perfect example would be the laptop I reviewed on my channel with Michael Fisher, the Creator 17. The same exact specifications that drive high-powered gaming are now powering creative work. They're now powering like desktop replacement work and all that. That's the reason why, even if I may not focus on gaming phones, I keep watching them because they're the phones that will start the trends in regular smartphones moving forward.
Absolutely.
I call the Red Magic 5G the why the hell not phone. Like, why the hell not?
They put out that 144 hertz first ahead of everybody else. The fan system, everything crazy. It's like, you want crazy, here's crazy for you, and
you know what?
At a crazy price.
It just takes a late night planning session at LG or Samsung or OnePlus for someone to be sitting there on their fifth bulletproof coffee going, you know what? Why don't we put a fan in our phone too? And then all of a sudden it's everywhere.
Dude, they started with the whole, it has liquid in there, so for liquid cooling, so the fans are in there. And I just, to me, like I said, the whole 65 plus, the plus moniker on a Qualcomm chipset started because of a gaming phone. Asus wanted a faster chipset.
Yep.
Qualcomm made it happen. Everybody loves it, and now we have it, and it's a series. So
Then they put it in the Z Flip, which I mean, like that's a perfect example. Like
You're not
things that are in the gaming world make it into other phones.
absolutely, and
or other
as long
things.
as long as you have DeX on the Z Flip, I think that's where you'll start benefiting from having the 865 plus and the
Good
5G.
point.
This is, yeah, I mean, I realized when I saw it, I'm like, why do that? Why release it again, 6 months later or 5 months later? It makes no sense. But then I thought about it. No, you want the better computing. You do want the faster connectivity when you're using it on the PC experience. So DeX on the Z Flips, because it wasn't around at the time when it was first launched, they pushed that out later. It was something that I think a lot of people would have benefited from it, having faster processor, not having 2019 CPU. So for sure, I appreciate what they're doing, and I'm excited. I'm sad to see that the price point is matching it, but yeah, for sure. Couple of real quick comments I see here. I see some demand here for a TK.
Oh my
How
god!
do you take care of your
How
beard
amazing
routine?
would that be? Did everybody in the chat notice earlier that TK did the beauty YouTuber thing where he puts his hand behind the item? Can you imagine TK doing like a beard video where he has to do that for every?
For every this is the beard oil that I use, and this is the beard butter that I use. Those will be terms that you never hear on my channel. Butter and oil and brushes.
Butter and oil. Bam.
Boom. Well, Josh got it covered in there, and Matt Tyler, of course, with the super sticker. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Quick question here coming in. What kind of grooming could you do for that? Okay, I got to put it together a video. It's a routine that I feel like the current situation made me maybe better for it. One of my biggest challenges that I've had for years with the beard is I always didn't grow it because I didn't know how to take care of it very well, and I've always gone see basically I go see get somebody to trim it, get it set up correctly. The pandemic or the current situation, I made a mistake there. Sorry, YouTube. They changed my approach to things. I've actually been kind of trimming it and taking care of it myself. I'm actually better at it. But there are a few things that you do need to know how to make it and take care of it, and hopefully you have an understanding wife. That's all I would say. Thank you, honey. I love you. I love you very much. If you're watching the show, definitely love you very much there.
I'm actually on the opposite end because normally I would have like an undercut for my haircut. But this length right here is actually like Isa actually prefers it when I have just like a natural medium length here. So for me, it's like I'm embracing it because I have no other choice. But
But you also rock a beanie sometimes too, so it kind of works out for you.
People think that I'm bald under the beanie when I wear the beanie.
No,
like,
my friend, that's my department. But yeah, please.
The thing is, like, it's okay. I will go ahead and spill the beans on this, spill the tea on this, as it were. If you see me wearing a beanie, it's because I haven't taken a shower yet.
Okay,
that's why.
Saf just posted a thing on his Instagram story saying that the reason why people grow, I say, if you have a double chin, grow a beard. Problem solved.
I did see that. But what if you can't? What if you can't grow a beard?
I don't know. I responded back to him and I said, you know what? That was my secret, man. That was my secret for years. Why are you spilling it? Why are you telling people the secret of why I grew the beard? It's one of those things you gotta. It's different, really. And the weird part about it is, when I was in my 20s, the beard wasn't this way. It actually had a lot of more patches and so on. And actually, when I got into my 30s, where it got fuller. And surprisingly, I lost the north side and the Nord side part of my stuff.
You lost the Nord.
I lost the Nord. I'm getting some of my Nord back here right now. Sorry, OnePlus. We love you. But yeah, actually, I did get contacted one time by a company for trying to sponsor some stuff with beard stuff, but I haven't heard back from them. But you know what? I may end up just doing a video, or maybe call the beard brand and see if they want
You
to
know,
do
why
something.
not? Honestly, one of these days, you never know. Like, TK and I are in the same boat in terms of like our solo careers and whatnot, and
Yeah,
we're trying to get to like an upper echelon of our success. Who knows? Like, maybe somewhere down the line, 2 million subscriber TK Bay launches TK Grooming, like he launches the TK Grooming brand, and like who knows? I would love that idea actually. I love the
I
idea.
hope the skunk look kind of stays up that way, because that's the other thing. It's a unique look for by itself.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no. With that, let's we can do a whole episode on this. Uh, Andrew had a quick comment. Okay, what are your thoughts about cheaper wearables like the Amazfit Band S and other Pebble replacements? Actually, speaking of which, I'm also doing the whole Mi Band 5 as well, and Josh is doing that as well. And thank you again for the super chat one, Andrew. So, what are your thoughts about that, Josh? As far as like cheaper, more affordable wearables,
Can
especially
I
in the yeah.
Side question, Fat Produce. As much as I love saying that handle on
I like
camera,
saying that too. I always
yeah.
remember. I need to like, no, it's Andrew.
But
But yeah.
it's Andrew. Okay, thank you for saying that because I never knew what his actual name is. So I want to address you as Andrew because Andrew, nothing will replace the Pebble ever.
Actually, that's true.
Nothing will replace the Pebble. That is still probably in the world of tech my all-time favorite weird product of all time. I actually almost unearthed one of my 3 Pebbles and I wanted to wear it again. I don't care if you think I'm wearing a Game Boy on my wrist. It is amazing. It is still such a great product. That being said, I think that the best analog to a Pebble replacement would be either a hybrid smartwatch like the Fossil hybrids, which I do wear. I do like that a lot too. But this is actually a wonderful replacement for it because it does exactly what the first Pebble did, the very first one, where it gives you no. There you go. That's why
Yeah.
it gives you notifications. You get a few different applications here and there. Honestly, the only app I ever need is a timer because it takes 5 minutes to make black tea and 3 minutes to make green tea. But yeah, that's really all I need. The fitness tracking stuff, I'm okay with it, but I actually use a heart rate monitor. I do other stuff, like I use other products. So yes, I've never used the Amazfit Bip S, by the way, though, just to answer your actual question.
Yeah, is that so? Andrew saying as long as you don't call me a curse word, he's happy. He'll respond to anything. No, so so Juan Carlos always refers to him as Fat Produce in the comments. So I always like, so, but then I'm like, but I know the guy. So
Oh, okay.
like, Andrew and I talk in the back, in the, offline a few times as well. So he's a good friend of the channel as well. And very, very, very good Star Trek fan as well. He helped me out a while back to get something for Juan Carlos for his office, for his new move when he moved into the new place. So it was an interesting experience there, but I miss my Pebble. I really do miss the Pebble had. It did what it was supposed to do so well. It works so fast. The commands that you had and the ability of actually running Tasker in the background with it too. You were able to run a few commands. Modding, that was something that I think last week you brought it to my attention. I didn't realize that the Mi Band 5 had a certain level of modding in it that you're able to use. Like offline things to augment the experience. So that I've been researching that. That's been exciting.
So I'll give everyone a quick example of that. So for a while with the for a while with the Mi Band 4, I had there's an app, there's a paid app, and it's worth every penny. Don't get me wrong. There's a paid app in the store in the Play Store called Mi Tools and Band. I think that's what it's called, and it extends the functionality of it to other applications like Sleep as Android. So this becomes a really good sleep tracking app. It also makes it so that if you use Sleep as Android already, this becomes your silent alarm. Every morning, this vibrates, and then I turn it off and go back to sleep. So, so the other thing too is you can customize notifications. You can already kind of do that. Like honestly, with this one right now, I use the official Mi Fit app, and I only allow messages, like actual text messages, Telegram, and Facebook Messenger to ring my Mi Band. Those are the only apps that I really need to know exactly what's going on. Emails, I segment time in my day to look at emails. I don't want to be so reactionary when it comes to my emails. But when I was using the Mi Fit, I keep calling it the Mi Fit. When I was using the Mi Band 4, however, there you go. Tools and Mi
Yeah.
Band. That's the app. When I was using the Mi Band 4, I used Tools and Mi Band, and the what you can do is you can set a string as the notification you get. So if a notification ever comes in, and it has the string that you say, it will ring your band. I only had one word in that string, and it was Isa. So it didn't matter where Issa posted, where Issa messaged me from, if she messaged me on Telegram, if she messaged me on Messenger, or if she tweeted. That is what my wrist would tell me. So
That
it's a really cool way of customizing the experience.
Absolutely. And so for me, the exciting part is that I just wasn't, I guess I wasn't very, very well versed in the Mi Band ecosystem. I've used the Mi Band 4 from last year, and I tend to use mostly this one. So this is the TicWatch Pro. That's my general, smartwatch, fitness tracker, all arounder kind of thing. And I think you and I did some coverage on that last year with the LTE model that came out. That was around the 626 market. It was exactly the same time.
Yep.
We were actually talking on our TicWatch Pros. So
Impossible, by the way. In that loud environment, impossible.
without connecting some type of Bluetooth headphones to the actual watch, it was almost impossible to hear it. But he's right. It was a unique experience, to say at the very least, and I hope at some point or another that actually does come back into, and people are able to enjoy that kind of open market experience. Especially the 626 market is very eclectic in the sense of the amount of foods, the amount of just overall desserts, and it just massive portions and just really good flavors.
And you know what? Quarantine era, I just got to say, I was. This is just a side rant for me, but we're not everything is getting canceled. We're not allowed to go out or anything like that. Like, we're trying to be safe, and just everyone, please just take care of yourselves and each other. Wear a damn mask, please. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the 626 night market would be happening in a couple of months. A friend of mine and I were pitching a food show at the 626 night market, where we would go to every booth and just eat their food and talk about the food. And
Absolutely,
it's like my dream show. And I'm so sad that I can't do it this year. Like it wasn't even approved, but we were pushing for it to be part of this year's.
I hope that if this actually does, obviously, hopefully by next year, 2021, that it would pick up on that. And it's an amazing place. It's an amazing place. Like I said, it's a lot of fun. It's not just food too. Like I said, I picked up my shirt from there because there was even a VR booth. My son got a chance to play a little bit there. Right. Remember, he put on the helmet in there and he was like running with the gun and like trying to it was a total experience. But I think if you have to kind of put together a place where you can bring a mass amount of cultural diversity, different types of food, different types of Asian food, also Japanese food, Asian, Chinese, a lot of fried food too. If you like fried food, there's tons of way too much of that, and desserts. There are like mountains of desserts. I'm hoping at some point we'll be able to do things like that, but. When I hung out with you last week, I think I did end up picking up some Cluck to Go, which I think they changed the name of the restaurant to the original Hainam Chicken now. So,
really?
Yeah, that it's the same thing. If you look them up, it's the same. But if you're in Pasadena and you love Hainam Chicken, or even just check out Cluck to Go. Not sponsored, not anything. Great food though, and it was always something I do every time I go hang out with Josh. I always stop by there before I come back home.
Yeah, we have our little staples for sure.
Staples for sure. So there was a lot of, my thing with the announcements that we saw this week was obviously the ROG Phone 3 for me is exciting. Regardless with the headphone jack, I realized what they're trying to do, the goal that they're trying to push forward. I felt like it's an upgrade that I think a lot of gamers will definitely appreciate. So we'll have to see how things are once you have your device and you're able to pick it up. I may end up selling mine. So I may end up just basically, selling my ROG Phone 2 and then picking up the ROG Phone 3, maybe the base model, because I think they released one for $799 this year, which is also new. They actually have an entry-level model that is cheaper as far as the price point for Europe.
What processor does that have?
They didn't specify it. That was the weird thing. It's supposed to be. I felt like maybe it was more of the RAM storage configuration that they brought it down. That's
Oh,
how they were
okay.
able to. But I felt they showed three different tiers on the presentation, and there was a $799, $1,000, and then there was the high end model, which like everything maxed out with I think an option of 16 gigs. So to me, I feel like the 799 could be good enough. I've been using the 10-cent edition of the ROG Phone 2, which is also the entry level of the ROG Phone, and it works great. 120 works really nice. The display is really good. I got Google Play services running on it, and I mean, with the exception of banking apps, which I really don't use on this device, it works perfectly fine.
Oh, funny you mentioned that. I can't use Google Pay on the Nord because it's not the right region.
Oh, I haven't
Yeah.
tried to set it up. Oh, okay. So can you activate it at all, or is it just won't
No,
activate?
it just won't activate.
Oh,
So it says your software is not compatible with Google Pay in your region.
in your region.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
that was one thing. It would be that's probably one of the only problems I have with it. But if anybody follows my coverage, you know that I don't really do traditional reviews anymore. I do something called top 5 complaints and takeaways, where I just talk about the main points about a phone that. No, I'm not neglecting any other point. It's just I'm focusing on these things. It's hard for me to make a top 5 complaints video on this phone because a lot of the complaints I have are really just the fact that this phone, I'm using it outside of where it's meant to be.
And I think that's one thing that I appreciate what OnePlus is doing this year. At least is that they're working with the outside market. Basically, they've appreciated that everybody's. I guess the audience is not one country specific, right? The way online or content creators or tech enthusiasts and so on are online are not in a silo of an experience, meaning if I live in America or if I live in California, all my viewers are in the US, and that's pretty much where my market is. They understand that that's general, the overall overarching thing. And for me, I even produced a video in Arabic, which it seems like, I think when it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think like one of the only creators that have an Arabic video on the Nord. It's a weird kind of a placement for content just to have something like that on it. So very happy. Thank you to OnePlus. I was going to say thank you to Samsung. I don't know why. Actually, I want to say Samsung, please fix the G9 and ship me my unit, please.
Right.
I've been waiting on that monitor, dude, since June 9th. I put in my order on June 9th, and they've held my money since then. And we're on the 25th of July, already a week or so beyond when it was supposed to be launched. I want them to fix whatever the issue is. If there is an issue with the G9 display and they need to take care of it, please take care of
No,
it. But
TK wants it now. Even if there's a problem, send it now.
send me a unit and send me the RMA, and I'll wait for the replacement.
The RMA.
Because I don't want to. I just. It's seriously. It's like when you want something and you wait this long for it.
Sure,
I waited.
for sure.
I waited for the announcement. Sorry, I waited for the original announcement to come out, and then when the announcement came out, and then now you can't almost find. And then what really surprised me, that scared me. B&H had that listed as discontinued. They actually listed the monitor as discontinued, not no longer available or back ordered. So that got me really worried. But luckily, Reddit is always going to be filled with a lot of people talking about things like this, and a lot of them have confirmed there is an issue. They're taking care of it. Amazon is one of the few retailers that are left that you're able to still pick it up from it. But speaking of which, we'll have to see. I think that was mostly what I was kind of really excited about. Is there anything new? I mean, obviously, other than the Nord, what else are you working on in the current time?
Okay, so
you can tease.
Unfortunately, this has to sit for a while, and I feel bad because I finally got my hands on the Xperia 1 Mark II, as we said earlier, and I'm super
Absolutely.
excited for this. Sony, one of their guys who, by the way, Sony apparently, this is just me, like another behind the scenes thing. Apparently, my contact from Sony who helped me with this, and also the person who gave me my briefing and just sort of ran me through all of the parts of this, they're in San Diego.
Oh, yes. I think Qualcomm, Sony are both very close to each other, if I'm not mistaken.
Like of course Qualcomm has been down there, and we're very like I love being close to there. It's easy for me to go say hi to our friends from Qualcomm. But I'm like, I keep emailing them back, and I'm like, let's get tacos. Like, let's go to. I'll come down and we can chat and blah blah blah. Anyway, I did my briefing with them, and I'm super excited because there's a lot about this phone that actually addresses the kind of creator that I am. So you have, correct me if I'm wrong, 16 millimeter, 24 millimeter, 70 millimeter. Those are the prime lens. You can zoom, obviously, digital zoom.
Yeah, you're able to zoom between the lenses. So in
Yeah.
the Pro mode, you're able to actually go from 16 to 24, 24 to 70, and 70 to 200.
Yes. So those three focal lengths for prime lenses are exactly what I use on my actual cameras.
Absolutely.
Like those are the three main prime lenses that I use. So I was like, you got me already. Like I have all three lenses that I would want. Let's do it. Things like rack focusing are like you can hit the A and B points and then just hit go and it will focus for you. Like that's a feature I use on my GH5. And there's so many things about this phone that I feel like actually address the kind of user that I am, and that's the reason why I'm super excited for it. The only problem is because of some stuff that's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks, I have to chill out on this. But I created a reason why I can chill out on this phone for a little bit. During the brief, they were saying that this phone, it's been a long time since I've even touched an Xperia phone. Let me just say that. The last time I did I was at Android Authority still. So one of the more key features of an Xperia phone is that it is the most compatible with like a PS4, for example.
Or Sony alpha cameras as well.
Sony alpha cameras. I don't have an alpha camera, but I have a PS4, and I am a big PlayStation fan. During the brief, they were saying how you can like mount this onto a DualShock controller. You can get it connected to your PS4 directly. PS4 Remote Play works beautifully on this. And the first thing I said the moment they said that was, "Can you send me that mount?" And they were like, "Let's see what we can do." Then I get an email that is a FedEx email. It's on its way. So I was like, "Whoa, this is great! I'm gonna have like the full, like every experience, right?
Exactly.
Like I'm gonna get the camera experience, the viewing experience, the audio experience because I am gonna be putting some headphones in here, and then I'm gonna get the PS4 experience." And I feel like no one really focused on that in their coverage. And here I am, a big PlayStation fan who's playing Persona 5 on a phone via PS4 Remote Play. Perfect.
Exactly. No, exactly. And for me, it is, you have to actually be a gamer and use the ecosystem. So for me, I'm more of an Xbox user, and I did hear about the PS4 integration.
All you Halo bros.
It's mostly, so believe it or not, it's mostly Dragon Ball stuff.
Oh, really?
A lot of my Dragon Ball collection of games is all in Xbox. Dragon Ball Fighter Z is on PS4, but it wasn't enough for me to change the ecosystem. I already had the 1S to kind of jump over. So we'll have to see with the new Xbox, the new releases, how things are going to be as far as, games and so on. But my son and I love to play Fighter Z. We can't wait for the next, we're hearing rumors that Whis is going to be coming in as a playable character. So that's going to be exciting. I've never seen Whis as a character in anything. You see Beerus and all the other characters, but so yeah, no, I am looking forward to checking that out. I think gaming on the Xperia was definitely very, very appreciative. One of their main features that they talked about in that one, and they didn't actually give it to us in the briefing too much, but there's that HS power control, which you'll see in the game launcher once it turns on. It lets you play games on your phone with a power connection into the phone without charging your battery. So you won't overheat
just
the phone.
drawing power.
Absolutely. Direct pass-through power, and you keep your phone so it doesn't charge it, but you don't damage the battery. You're not overheating.
Yet another feature that is a gaming feature that makes it to another product.
Exactly.
Because there's another phone that does that, technically, and that's the Red Magic 5G. It turns on the fans so that you're not overloading the battery while charging it and playing at the same time. Yep. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the gaming side, like, I'm not even saying this because I love gaming. I'm actually saying this because as someone who looks at the full market, gaming features are always the way that like innovation starts to happen in other categories.
They have the experimentation ability. Exactly. They can experiment without hurting their brand. That's the weird part about it is you expect them to experiment. You want them to experiment, and if it doesn't work, fine. You'll see the next iteration. But yeah, no, Sony's battery health. I mean, and LG does the same thing also on their devices. Some people look at LG devices and they see, well, why are they not charging with 40 watts or 50 watts or 60 watts? Or, we saw also, Oppo announcing 125 watts speed. I'm like,
that's more than most laptops.
Yeah, no, I'm like 125. I was like, 65 is what you need for a MacBook, but no. I think what you're seeing here, obviously, there is some great technology in charging tech. So that's really good. But battery health is also something that you need to be keep in mind. LG, the Velvet, the V60 have both that feature that built in where, yes, it charges the device a little bit slower. It gives you the ability of timing when you charge it overnight to say that it'll be 100% by 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. in the morning next morning, if you're one of those that like to charge it overnight. But the HS Power Control is very functional, especially for extended gaming sessions. Imagine where you don't have to worry about your battery life because your phone will be charged. You have that on the controller, and you can have a couple of hours worth of gaming, and your phone is still 100%. You're done. You just unplug. You're done. Go away. You don't have to worry about it.
Yep.
So a lot of cool things. I'm looking forward to seeing what you think about it. And my hope essentially is by the time you're ready to kind of work around it, I'll have mine again, and then we'll be able to talk.
For sure, yeah. I look forward to like a couple weeks from now because I'm gonna call it right now. A lot of the shots from this phone are gonna be me playing Ghost of Tsushima on the phone, like using the DualShock mount and all of that. Like it's gonna be great, and which is funny because I actually, speaking of gaming stuff, that was kind of a tangent. I do want to get back to gaming content, and I was talking to Matt Tyler and Sam on their podcast last week about it. Ghost of Tsushima, I already recorded 1.5 hour segment. I'm going to continue playing it this weekend, and then this upcoming week, every day, you'll get a half hour of me playing that game. But I'm also looking to do, I might make a Twitch. I made my account. I haven't set it up fully yet. Like, I'm still kind of thinking about it. I don't know. I do really want to get into like the gaming stuff. I know it's kind of hot right now with quarantine and all that, but it's something I want to try.
Well, if you end up using StreamYard, I think it's a great way to do a live broadcast. You could do it and connect it to StreamYard and then just post it straight to both YouTube and your Twitch if you set it up.
Yeah.
I did a couple of live streams on Twitch, and it was more of a spur of the moment. I opened up Call of Duty. I was playing, and I just was like, why not? But I didn't get a chance to set up my setup for Twitch isn't set up correctly. I have every single scenario configured correctly for for live streaming, for video recording, and so on. Speaking of setups, this last few weeks or so, I've been actually using this mic for my videos, which is a little bit different, and I may want to experiment a little bit more. I'm noticing that this is great for podcasting, like we're doing this type of conversation, but it may not be the best for video content. It's too close to me. That's maybe, I don't know the better way to say it.
I don't know. I mean, mine's right here. Like, it's literally like this much away from here.
No, like right outside of the frame. It's like
absolutely. You know what? Like what I will say, like, okay, what's going on in the world right now is just terrible across the board, and I don't want anybody to think that just because like, we're very blessed to actually have, the jobs that we have, we're still able to work and all of that stuff. And there's some people out there that are saying, like, you know what, I needed this time to reflect and to chill. Like, no, the world is terrible right now. What are you talking about? So it's, putting that caveat out there first. I will say this, though. The time and effort and money I put into figuring out this setup that I have with the, Issa gave me this little background piece, and it's now the centerpiece of the background. The Mega Man glowing right here.
Yeah.
I redesigned like this area right here so that there's a little bit of a background. I usually have the TV on. The actual desk setup where I have a clamp right here with the microphone, but on the other side of the microphone is my overhead rig for overhead shots right here. I have this setup. All of this stuff that I've learned because I'm forced to be in my actual room for all of my content, basically. All of this translated beautifully to my actual office once I started to go back to it. So I know,
yeah, that's right. I noticed the gaming video, not the gaming, the laptop video that was at the office.
Exactly. And so I have a microphone there now. My audio is better in the office than it ever has been. I'm really happy about that. So like, yes, in a way I was forced to learn all of these things because of how terrible the world is, but I'm just happy that it translated pretty well to the office. So I'm looking forward to doing more content in and out of both locations. But yeah, it's the audio thing. Like, I actually have you, and I don't know if Juan is still in the chat, but I have the both of you to thank for kind of opening my, you kind of nudged me in a direction that led me to like a YouTube rabbit hole, and I started really researching audio and all of that. I even have, because of our last show, apparently 3 months ago, because of our last show, I got a Fed head. I actually got a Fed head to boost the microphone, and I was like,
Microphone.
you know what, you're right, I do need one of those, and then I got it, and now here we are.
So what happened, I think, is last time you were on the show was about 3 months ago. But you and I have done, I want to say,
Pocket Now.
Pocket Now. We've done a few times on
Yeah,
Pocket Now, which is why you probably feel like, wait, has it really been 3 months, DK? Are you sure? I'm
that's
like,
fair.
it's because we've been hanging out. That's the thing. We still talk. We do other things. But it's coincidentally OnePlus related as usual that we get back and we kind of talk a little more here. I noticed Sam was talking about that he picked up one of the shirts on the show. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy it. I'm actually trying to working on some baseball caps for the show for like some merch stuff for the channel. So I have I would say an alpha design coming in. As soon as I get that, we'll see. I feel like the logo for the channel would look amazing on a cap, like just like the center little thing.
But I also really enjoy the idea of you on the hat on you. You're doubling up.
It's like, who's that guy on your hat? I'm like, just look down.
Just right here.
It is right there.
It's literally you twice. Like you're putting
Yeah.
you're putting your beard on top and then the thing on the bottom.
It's just that the logo looks so cool. Like
It is.
like when the guy first did it and he's like, there was a few tweaks we needed to do to it. It was just like you nailed it. You nailed the look. It's easy to see. It's easy. It's super distinguishable. And so thank you, Sam. And oh yeah, so Juan's still in the comments. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
there you go.
He's still in there. Yeah, no, to me, it's a lot of cool things going on. And I think just trying to experiment and try different things. Your setup looks a lot better. The audio for me, the only reason why I changed is I'm having a lot of problems with my wireless solution. So I used the wireless lavalier for a while. And for some reason, every once in a while, no rhyme or reason, static gets picked up, and I don't know when it's going to happen. So I've had a lot of bad audio come through, and like one time, literally, I shot the video 3 times, and I spliced 3 shoots into one to get a video out. I can't do that. I have to be reliable. This I can have a PC sitting next to it, humming and generating as much buzz, or I have like 6 phones on the table right now. Nothing. The shielding on the cables, everything sounds perfect. But I sit so far from my camera, I can't do something similar to the way you have it with the more of a directional microphone to capture it. Mm-hmm. So it's a little hard for me, and I tend to move. That's the other thing. Where my normal setup right now with you, we're talking, I'm actually sitting a little bit back. But whenever I'm doing my B camera, I actually move a lot forward. So I have to come closer to do the work.
I see. Yeah, that's the reason why this clamp. I'm actually going to be doing a video soon. 5 ways to overhead rig, and it's I have so many different ways to do it. But yeah, like this little, I have a clamp with like a magic arm, and then it comes down, and I'm using one of these condenser mics that's usually used for like live music. Matt, yeah. By the way, Matt, isn't Matt a wrestling fan? Like,
let me put this one away.
Yeah.
Matt, yeah, let us know, Matt. Are you into wrestling? Because is it the Bulls or?
It's The Rock.
Oh,
So,
the Rock. Okay.
Yeah, it's The Rock.
Oh,
It's the Brahma
oh
Bull.
yeah.
The Under Armour version of the Brahma Bull now, but
Yeah.
but yeah, like so I'm using this particular mic, and you know what? If you're interested at all, not this one, but the ones in my office, I have 2. It's a set of 2 for only $100. So just putting it out there, and they're really good. For that
XLR, of
price.
course. Yeah, no,
Of course.
Yeah. No. That's the beauty of it.
Because I know you and Juan are all about your dynamic mics, but yeah.
Well, so Juan was talking to me about using a lavalier XLR mic input. So it would be a lav mic that I'm able to clip to my shirt, which is that general position that I normally get anyways, the experience. But it has the shielding of an XLR cable that circumvents any issues that I may have with audio issues. So at that point, I don't have any problem, and it will work with my existing setup. What I like about this is the ability of me controlling it. That's why I used it for about a week and a half. So I can get closer, I can move back. The audio stays exactly where it is. Plus, I love the arm. The blue arm, the most quietest arm ever. You'll never have a problem. Like I swing this, I take it up and down, and you guys never hear a problem. So to me, as a mic stand and all of that, I love it. But I've actually seen people use this as an overhead cam setup. They use the same threaded mount, and they set it up at the top because it's such a good arm. So
That's what that is, yeah. That's what I have here. I use a Rode arm in the office for that mic. But yeah, I love that we're getting into... This is the conversation, by the way, that we would normally have after we hit after we
Pause
go
on
off
the
air. Yeah.
yeah. But it's typically what we talk about, right? It's
Yeah.
always how you doing, how are things going, tech, and then we jump into audio production and creative stuff, because that's the type of conversations that we have a lot of that in common too. But the big thing about it is when you hang out with another creator, another person that is similar content creation type of work that you do, and I get the same thing when I hang out with Juan Carlos. It's an absolute just a pool of creativity. You bounce ideas off of each other. You talk about what works, what doesn't work, what are some of your challenges, and those are things that you can't really, I can't go hang out with my brother or anybody like that. Hey, I'm having a problem with this. Um, Juan Carlos spent, I think, it was about an hour with me a few months back to help me set up the audio the way it stands right now,
Yep.
troubleshooting some of my issues with my system. So, thanks to him, absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
And I can't. So the only thing I think since the last time you and I talked is I brought in a Steam Deck, so a Stream Deck. Sorry, not Steam. So I brought in the Stream Deck XL to the office. So now I have a lot more little.
Your super fancy,
Fancy.
your super
Yeah.
fancy number pad, right?
Yeah, with folders and pages.
Because what I
and-
keep thinking whenever I see a Stream Deck is that's a number pad. Like I could just use a number pad for the exact same functions.
So for me, I found it to be a little bit. So to a lot of the things I use for it, because I got the XL, I wanted as many buttons as I could get in front of me. The reality is, I literally wanted like a control center. I use it for quite a bit. Quite a bit of it is basically setup stuff. So like to open up everything that I have right now, it's literally like one button to open up StreamYard, a second button to open up Twitter, and open up my Instagram. And of course, when I'm done with all of this, I open up my Pinecast for my podcast. A lot of it is shortcuts, but interface with OBS is absolutely king. Like if you use OBS, it is like literally the best interface. So for my live streams on Amazon, it works great. I also like it to be able to control lights. So the lighting I have in the office is also controlled through here.
I do like that.
So I brought those in there, and it just simplifies having to open the PC, or even when I'm in the live stream on using OBS, I don't have to have OBS in front of me anymore. I literally switch scenes and initiate music and so on. So it's a great controller. May have been better for me to go with the standard, not the XL, because I think I may have gone with too many. But I feel like, if you have the use and you stream a lot, especially if you end up doing Twitch, this may be something you may want to look into.
Yeah, I keep thinking of like a super simplistic setup. So in my case, it's switching between this and this camera. I only need 2 buttons for that, so that's why I.
The things with Twitch is the Be Right Back page, the chat,
the
as
little
well
graphics
as
and all that.
the graphic stuff. Yeah, those are the things that I think most gamers use
For sure.
And they actually have one that's called the Mini, which is like $89 or $87.
Yep,
and
I've
it's like
seen that.
6 buttons. But I saw some guy that did so many pages in it that it was crazy. Like they created pages and folders, and like that 6 button, he got like more function than out of my 32.
On the last page, there's like a call mom button or something. Like
Yeah, like panic. I've gone to the end.
Yeah.
Gary wants to say, thank you very much. First and foremost, Gary, TK, hat plus optional TK, full beard and glasses. No need to thank. That.
Did you ever watch the show Community?
I used to watch it. I didn't see all of the entire thing, but I'm very familiar with the show. Yeah.
So there's a segment in the show where they're trying to act like their evil selves, and they make these construction paper beards.
Oh my god!
You should make that, and just people can put it on. You should totally do that.
There'll be the TK beard. It's like, you want to look like TK for Halloween this year, guys. It's a few months away. TK beard.
Yeah, man, that'd be great. Hashtag TK beard.
Oh my god. We're starting the demand. I'll have to. So my wife is a little more arts and crafty than I am, so we'll have to see that department with the beta release of that one. Thanks for starting that, Gary. I appreciate that, man. Oh man. And then of course Aditya, of course, with the Super TKR Bay beard and grooming show. You know what? I will put something together. I think I will try that out, because I tried something new this week. Also, I did an episode called Future Tech. I get a lot of things from Kickstarters and stuff, like the moth that you have right there. And I feel like those are things that people, may be interesting on it. And then the thing hit me. I said, these are things that you can't buy right now. Why not make a show out of it? Every once in a while, when I have enough things, I can put a show together about it. And we just, I called it Future Tech, and we'll see how that one does. And the beard show would be something to try out. Why not? I'm home. I already do it anyways. Might as well do it on camera.
You got to do it. You got to do it right. You got to do it where it's one shot of you doing the entire thing, but then it's VO. So like, and you got to get real close to the mic. You're just like, "Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to be doing a beard video. And this is the oil that I use, and it's like that's got to be the way the video's done."
ASMR the F out of that one. There'll be such a high demand, the channel will never come back to being a tech channel again. Everybody will be like, okay, where's the next video? Come on. Oh my God. And then one more for Ibshahan, thank you very much. Sell me your ROG Phone 2. JV just made me a new fan. Still waiting for the TK Inception. Well, let's go ahead and do that real quick. Did I do that with you last time you were here, Josh? Or
what?
do you? Oh, okay. So this is a weird thing, and I did one last week with Isa where if I share the screen that the actual event is in. So let's go ahead and share this one. If I share the screen that we're watching, we get this.
Yep.
The TK Inception. So this is how we can multiply ourselves and have many conversations with ourselves. So wait, this way.
I love the delay is so great. Do you remember that scene from Star Wars where Rey is doing she's looking at all the different versions of herself in the mirror, and she's going like this.
It's like, and so every show we do it, we always have to do the TK Inception, and I'll just go ahead and make sure he's in the. It doesn't actually put him in there. Does it add him? Let me see. Here we are. Wow. Sorry, I always got to do that one. It's a fun thing to do, but I forget. Last week, actually, with Isa, I had a lot of technical problems last week. Power went out in the middle of the show.
Yeah, someone was saying I didn't get to watch the whole show, but someone was saying that you actually you ducked out, like you went dark, right?
Yeah. So weird thing happened in the morning before the show started. I woke up in the morning and there was no power at the house. The whole area was having some issues. But then the power came back at 9:30. I'm like, oh, everything is fine. And then my wife told me, she said, make sure you have some kind of backup. If you're going to go on, the power may go out again. I'm like, nah. So I ended up using one of those part of the TK the TK Future Tech. I had an Indiegogo, or not Indiegogo, or maybe a Kickstarter campaign. It was something called an All Power. It's basically a power bank beast that has 4 AC outlets. And I kid you not, I was running a TV, a monitor, a laptop, camera, lights, everything on that little thing.
Whoa.
For the 2 hours that I was talking to Isa.
Whoa. Okay.
And the problem though is I didn't listen to my wife at the beginning. So what I did is I just did all of this, but I did not turn the internet to be on the mobile hotspot that I had. I kept it on the home internet. Sadly, that was the thing that went out. So in the middle of the show, internet went out and I had to reconnect. So I did. Alcatel was nice enough to send me one of their Link Plus, the Link Zone 2 that they have right now on T-Mobile, and it has really good connectivity, 4G LTE. Connected it and I jumped back, but in the whole time, Isa ran the show. She was just hanging out, kicking it. And
I can't believe I didn't get to that part of the show when I was watching.
And what I realized is I thought it went dark, but I think when I was rewatching the show, it froze. My picture froze for that whole time. So the whole time she was talking, I was like the whole time, and it was one of those. It's one of those weird things. So like. Luckily, it didn't happen again, and power is much easier. But I should have listened to my wife. But I am so happy that I had that accessory, because without it, I would say at least I would have had to come back on from a phone or something like that, and that would have changed the whole experience. It would have been me on the phone outside, which I'm really excited about that. But speaking of which, actually, of live streaming, is there anything that maybe you can tell us about you and Isa? Is that happening? Are we going to start seeing?
We are so not sure if it's going to be a live stream, but we are starting a podcast, and anybody that follows us on Twitter, either of us really, that we're in a really long distance relationship. So what we have basically is this idea that we're going to just have like a weekly thing for half an hour to an hour and just talk about our relationship and just talk about things that are going on in our lives in two various different places. In my case, it's California. In her case, it's the Philippines.
Exactly.
So we're really excited about. I don't want to say the name because like the worst case scenario is that someone scoops up the name before we can trademark it or anything like that.
That's why I didn't say anything. I just,
Yeah,
I'm. My thing is, I felt like as if I talk to you about it here, it will happen. That's my thing. Bring it
exactly.
out. Let people talk about it. And
Well, okay, here's the thing though. We actually had it scheduled for this weekend to start. We
Mhm.
actually already had scheduled. The only thing is, in Issa's case, there's so many phones and not just phones, there's so many announcements and pieces of work that are happening this particular weekend, on top of the fact that we have like Nord and all these other things going on. So we decided to postpone it one more week. We're going to start next week. And what I actually really adore about this is that this was actually all Issa's project. So I basically run two and a half different channels.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I have mine, I have Pocket Now, I have Pocket Now Weekly, I have my own podcast. Like I have a lot of stuff on my plate. So she was like,
Yep.
no. I will take care of the logistics of the show. You just have to come on and I'll take care of the rest. I'm like, oh, there you go. Perfect. Because I want to do a podcast with her, but I'm just always so afraid of overwhelming myself. So
It is you are. I feel like you're able to handle it very well, but yes, I can see where your hands are in a few cookie jars. So I can feel like, yeah, you definitely want to make sure if she's able to run it. I think it's a great opportunity for you guys to collaborate on. And the main thing is it's just as long as you're able to put some type of consistency into it, I think it'll work great. And I'm sure everybody here would love to be able to jump in on a chat with you guys, or even if it's not live, just checking it out, seeing how things are, and maybe see how life is with long distance. It's actually very unique. Not a lot of people have heard of the type of relationship that goes that way, but also things that you guys have had it for some time.
mhm.
This is not like you just started. You've been doing it for a while, and those are the things I used to look forward to. When we used to meet just during events. It's like in CES, you and Issa were hanging out. You were running around CES. You guys were running a competition for Qualcomm. That was crazy.
Yep.
You know, like CES is crazy to be by itself, and then throw a competition. Really, really nice. And Aditya is like, I said the word, you had your hands in too many cookie jars. Aditya's like, speaking of which, I may have some cookies today. No, but I think that was it mostly for me. I just felt like it was a great opportunity to get us together again, hang out. I hope. I think I have to figure out a way to get you your phone back, which now I have two. But nice enough, it'll look really cool in the video because I'll have a green and a
Yeah,
silver.
feel free. Like, just get your shots with that particular color.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
in right now, all the content around the Velvet in the US is just going to be silver. So feel
That was
free
gonna
to use mine.
Exactly, and that's why I saw Juan Carlos's video as well. So he did his with the green one, but I think for me it's and I like that. I mean, I'm starting to like it after a few days of having the silver one. I think it's really nice. I didn't do a straight unboxing of the packaging. I felt like this is. I will cover some of that in the video for tomorrow, but the experience that I wanted to share is just the overall experience of using it, playing with it. I've had the phone for a week, but I've only had the AT&T model for a few days. So that's the reason why I want to wrap it up with both of those, kind of like a 1 week impressions, and then maybe something a little bit long term.
Mhm.
But I like that it has a headphone jack. Honestly, that to me it's a must. It's a must. We need to have it. Sony heard it. Sony brought it back. They gave us a headphone jack with a DAC. They gave us wireless charging, front-facing speakers. They're doing it right. Either
They
way,
just had to call it Walkman. Oh, look at that.
almost.
It's okay. Quick fix.
Josh will be replaced by the empty battery logo from now on. Just thank you very much.
Oh man, that's what I get. Anyway, quick fix, real easy. Okay, so the oh, and of
Hey!
course it's on. Of course, it's on the wrong setting.
The live tracking.
Yeah.
No, I know.
There we go. All right, so the there we go. But yeah, they should just have called it like the Walkman. To be honest, like all the audio features should have been Walkman, and I would have adored it. So yeah, great to see that headphone jack back. But hopefully we'll see even more cool features like that come back in phones.
Oh, definitely. And just surprised that somebody did remember. So by the time next Saturday's event, for next Saturday's Saturday morning with tech. There would be another Eid for us in the Muslim community, Eid al-Adha. So Eid Mubarak to all the followers. If you celebrate it, it's going to be, from what I remember, it's on the 31st, so that's next Friday. So Eid Mubarak, inshallah bkhair, and I hope you guys are doing well and you're being safe with the family. You're able to spend it with your family, of course. Thank you, ER 1980. I hopefully appreciate it, brother. Yeah, little surprises like these always get to me at the last second. I don't remember these, but then people jump in and remind us.
Hey.
So you mentioned that you have a few things going on as far as laptop. Is there any projects that you'd like people to maybe look forward to, keep an eye out for you that's coming up within the next week?
Yeah, I mean, look forward to. So, like I said, I have so many different things that I'm in the middle of. So, not only my channel, but of course, Pocket Now, Pocket Now Weekly. Of course, we just did a wonderful interview with someone from Samsung.
Computing.
It's such a great interview that we had, and there's a 15-minute cut of it on Pocket Now, but there's also the 1 hour long interview that you can listen to on your podcasting app. So I do want to make sure I talk about that one because I was just so happy with the way that came out. Like, we had a lot of fun with him. Aside from that, however,
it was very well organized, and I like the little condensed version that you guys posted on the channel.
For sure, and we're still toying around with ideas of how to bring back the video version of the podcast to Pocket Now. But yeah, on top of all of that, I am trying to bring back Tech and Tea with Joshua Vergara. That's my personal podcast. I'm still trying to figure that out. It's mostly my energy levels that I'm trying to make sure are in the right place when it comes to that. I don't want to just get on for half an hour because I have to. So I want to make sure that I have the energy for it. And of course, on top of that is what we teased is that Issa and I are going to start a dual podcast also. Aside from that, no, just all of the stuff that's coming up over on my channel. Now that I'm going back to my office, I'm feeling more energized about like putting out consistent content. And you can find me at youtube.com/Joshua Vergara. That's my full name. But you can also find me at any of the different social media networks at JV Tech Tea, because you know me, I'm JV. I love tech and I love to drink me some tea.
Some tea. Exactly. All of the links that Josh just mentioned, of course, will be in the description below on the YouTube channel. Of course, if you're watching this on Periscope.
Real quick, I do want to make sure that I want to be the good boyfriend and say Issa's been doing a lot of stuff over on her channel, obviously, but she's also going to be on Across the Pondcast tomorrow, like we said. And the reason why I want to mention that is because, like we had last week, I didn't know until we were like 30 minutes into that episode that we could curse. So it just started happening. I'm sure Issa's gonna. Issa's gonna love that tomorrow, so I think she'll be able to let loose a little bit. So Sam and Matt, have fun tomorrow with Issa on your podcast.
No, absolutely, yeah. No, the only difference is for me, I do both YouTube and Periscope. So otherwise, it would have been Twitch and Periscope. So I may upgrade to the third tier that StreamYard has and jump over to Twitch. But I think at the end of the day, it's all fun and hanging out and just talking tech. And I think for me, I didn't realize how much she had a lot of Mi products, like a lot of Xiaomi products that she uses. So it's always interesting to see.
She would never get the same enjoyment from the Mi monitor that you and I will. She has the Mi fan though, and she adores it.
Yeah, she put it on her Instagram. I don't want to say the Instagram Live or even on Twitter, where she was controlling the fan with the app. So that to me is like, but those are the things that Xiaomi is known for. Their ecosystem is just massive. And speaking of the monitor, look forward to, I'm working on this. I'm trying to test it out. I've had it, I barely got it set up about a few days ago, but I finally got it to actually work functionally. Like right now I'm running a Chromecast on it for the backdrop. Because I had a few videos where it was just dark and I can't. So this is an Android TV box that's connected to the bottom one, but I can't broadcast the same one to the top and bottom. So I figured put Dragon Ball up there since I kind of moved Goku behind me. That had a staple position there. So, for me, just again, TK Bay over everywhere, TK DSL 8655. I don't know why I still have that. But if you just type in TK Bay, generally you'll find me everywhere as well. And of course, thanks everybody, Matt, Aditya, Andrew, David Burns, of course. David, thanks for hanging out with me over on Amazon a few nights ago. We were talking about I think it was during the Stream Deck. No, yeah, it was the Stream Deck. Or actually, I take that back. I don't think it was the Stream Deck. Matt, if you can remind me, well, actually, sorry, David, I'm sure remembers what we were talking about. And then Sam and Matt tomorrow afternoon with Isa across the podcast at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it'll be at, I think, was it 9 p.m. UK time. So just in case you guys are trying to figure out the timing for that, you guys deserve it. And and hopefully we both will have a video going on for the gaming monitor. It's a great monitor, 34-inch, curved, 144, and barely for 400 euros. It's crazy. I can't believe
those are all specifications I've never enjoyed on a monitor. High refresh rate, curved, high resolution, so I'm looking forward to it.
And reasonably priced. 400. That's like uncalled for. But with that being said, thank you very much. Be safe. Stay home if you're able to. Please wear a mask if you're, it is kind of a no-brainer, but if you are not, please wear it when you're in public. And of course, hope you guys see you guys next week. Check out the podcast. Check out Josh. Thank you, Josh, for hanging out with us one more time. Hopefully we'll have you sooner than another 3 months when the next OnePlus product comes out. I don't want to make it sound like every time I bring you in, it's only for OnePlus stuff.
No, not at all. Honestly, we're in the same time zone. Just ask me whenever. And we're both it's not like either of us lose time. You know what I mean? So.
Isa F-bomb over under 37 minutes. Ooh, we're taking numbers. Okay, Juan Carlos. I see how it goes. He has one running on his show. There's always the how long does it take him to get through his intro. So he always does the over under. We'll have to see.
Oh, gotcha.
So definitely very much. So thank you very much, Juan Carlos, everybody in the comments. I'll see you guys next week. And of course, be safe.